You are now listening to Bullhook Golf, an unfiltered golf podcast taking you inside the ropes with unfiltered stories, insights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. Welcome back, everybody, to Bullhook Golf, the podcast. I'm Matt Cook, this is Bobby Brown, and this is episode number 47, the show we'd like to refer to as the hot take of the hour, or the main question hitting social media, which is golf joggers, yes or no? I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll find out on the show today. We'll talk about it. I was pretty active on there over last week, so if you've been following the Instagram handle and Twitter account for Bullhook Golf, and those are, by the way, just at Bullhook Golf, you would already know the answer to this. For myself, anyways, I have not talked to you, Bobby, about it, so
No,
we
you
will
haven't.
talk. But on today's show, we're going to certainly have some story time with Matt and Bobby. I mean, we got to catch up,
Certainly.
Bobby. It's been
Yeah, we
a
do.
long week.
6 days, 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, I literally started losing my mind around day 5. So,
Dude, I've been missing you, bro.
I miss you too. I do.
What happened to your title? Where's your Titleist slid, bro? They renege on that contract?
Oh man, that thing is gone. They said you cannot wear that on air. No, I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
No,
I
that
know you
was-
are. I'm giving you shit.
I figured the hair was looking good today. I figured no hat.
You
Let's
do look.
roll.
You do. There was a time. You can finish the sentence. There was a time I used to have that, but I don't. I don't anymore. So
Poor Bobby.
we'll just go with that. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. You know, I hate to quote Phil Mickelson, but I've made peace with it.
Yeah,
I've made peace with it.
and he's
Getting
not
sassy lately.
He's
fucking
not a
sassy
fashion
lately.
guy. I
Yeah,
never claimed I'm a
yeah.
bullshit, Phil. You have
Yeah.
bragged about your fashion for years.
Right.
You've
right.
talked about the fact that you were wearing oh gosh, what's the name of it?
Well, he was big on those crocodile. He had these crocodile FootJoy classics that he swore he was
did.
the only one that had them. But I almost wanted to hit him on. I just revealed to you my burner Twitter account, which is if anybody pays attention to my Instagram, they'll know that I've been blocked twice in a row. Sensitive motherfuckers, and that's all right. It was
You are on a roll.
2 douchebags anyway, so I don't really give a shit. But I remember I was gonna fire back at Phil because I remember all these practice rounds we would play with him with Dustin, and he wore these like sheen gold. I don't even want to say they were Tommy Bahama print, but they had the most funkiest print. He'd wear them like every other day, and I would always look at Dustin. And I'm like, "Do you think this motherfucker doesn't look in the mirror before he goes out and sees how bad those pants are?" But it's fucking Phil. He knows everything about everything. So, anyways,
I know, right?
I sidetracked us there, bro. I'm big on sidetracking.
That's totally fun. I mean,
Okay, cool.
we're in it. We're going to be covering tonight. Certainly the Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah.
That happened last weekend, and
Yeah.
what a great tournament that was. We've got the
Shit.
social media debate, joggers or
Yeah.
no joggers. We've got
Right.
to recap. So we're going overseas for the Dubai Desert Classic recap.
Right.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about this upcoming AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Bobby's back at his
Yeah.
old stomping grounds.
Yes.
I am pumped about this week. I'm excited. And we also obviously got to talk a little bit about LIV Golf and everything going on there. And I've got a few comments for everybody out there around LIV Golf and just potentially some hot takes there. So let's
Yeah.
start off with story time with Matt and Bobby. Bobby, how was your week?
Oh, it was good. I mean, I just stayed. Can you hear me okay with
I
these,
can hear
these
you
pods?
great. Yeah.
Okay, good, everybody. Sorry about
Crushing
that.
it.
It keeps popping up on my phone. But it was good. It was a pretty chilled week at home. I really didn't do shit. I mean, I watched, you know what I do Thursday through Saturday. I mean, golf's on. Well, unfortunately for me, golf wasn't on till noon Eastern time, but you know the drill. I'm a little bit of a fucking wacko sicko golfer. So couple TVs going and starting at 12 and then till 7 o'clock. But I just hung out. I just hung out with the boys, did my normal. It's boring as shit, man. I do my normal. It never changes with me, bro. It's fucking Trader Joe's. It's Costco. It's Whole Foods. I'll drive to Costco 25 fucking minutes away so I can save 11 cents a gallon on gas. And
That's aggressive, Bobby.
yeah, it was uneventful. My son, my 9-year-old superstar goalie of the future USA team, whatever year that's going to be, they're playing that little indoor soccer futsal. And fuck, he's impressive even in that. He's kind of like a little fucking badass. So
Love to hear
So
it.
that was it, man. That was it. I was getting fucking fired up for this week. I totally overpacked because, we were projected to have 7 days of rain here, and then it looked like it was getting good. And then now it looks like it's gonna rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's fucking freezing huevos rancheros out here in the morning. We've been getting after it super duper early. So that's what I did. I spent like fucking 2 days packing, make sure I brought, I have 9 different yardage books from Pebble Beach over the years that I transfer notes and reads into. So, oh man, I just chilled last week. What'd you do last week, Matt? What'd you get
I
up to?
I was getting after it, Bobby. I got my first golf lesson in 15 years. So I
This
had to
should
go
bring in
back.
about this should get us about 25,000 more listens.
I
Hearing
think
Matt
so. I
about that
mean, you
calls
gotta you
first.
gotta be interested around the golf
Well, Matt,
lesson
let me
after
ask you a
15 years.
question.
Yeah.
Why'd you go get a lesson? What's the problem?
So
Is there a problem?
things were going pretty well there for a
Yeah,
while. I felt like I
yeah.
was starting to really get it together, and then I all of a sudden things started falling out of place. I started recording my swing, started looking at it, and then
Uh-oh.
overanalyzing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not fucking
Uh-oh.
Tiger Woods. I'm not somebody who can sit here. I can
Oh,
teach other
Matt.
people. I cannot sit there and study my own golf swing. So guess what? I
What?
hit up one of our ambassadors, Terrence Daniels, who going back in the day we played on the Grand Canyon University golf team together. And
Mm,
after I graduated, there was a gentleman who came onto the golf team that Terrence knows, and sure enough, he ends up as a at the academy that's called Tour Striker out here
mhm.
at the Raven, and Mike Correa is his name. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there were some things that when he looked at it, he's like, "Oh, yep, got it, man. We're good." So GCU alum to GCU alum, I'm like, "Tell me how it is. Like, do I have any game left?" Because Bobby, I'm gonna start training this year. I mean, I've been working out. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
going and working with this instructor, Mike Crea, which he actually just got the top 100 or under 40 for golf instructors. So he
Right?
got that award and acclaim for the first time. So pretty excited about that. But I'll tell you, Bobby, some of the stuff that he went over with me, game changers, absolute game
Uh-huh.
changers. Just absolutely pure in some golf shots out there. I got to put in the work. So
Mhm,
I've been
mhm.
hitting a
Yeah, you do.
lot of golf balls, digging in the dirt, just working it out. I've been every night, taking about 1,000 to 2,000 putts into the putt out, the little boomerang. And
Oh,
so I've been making about 250 to 300 putts a day. And
uh-huh.
yeah, it's starting to get things cranking.
Well
So
let me ask you a question about your teaching pro. We'll call him your
yeah.
teaching pro. What is a guy like that? Because I'm interested in this because I think I saw that list come out and there were some names I recognize and I naturally go, oh, I know this dude or whatever. And I always look at what they charge per hour. So I don't know what I'm not asking you what your deal is for him or anything, but what does he usually charge an hour? I'm going somewhere with this.
I believe he's at 180 an hour.
Okay, okay, because I was gonna say 175 for a guy that's not on tour. The reason why I say this is because I was scrolling down the list and I came across Drew Steckel, who is
Oh,
Kokrak's
yeah.
guy, and Danny Lee, and everybody knows Drew Steckel. He's a great guy. He's a great teacher. I think he's a great teacher. Anybody gets his hands on, their game seems to improve. So to me, that's a great teacher. But I'm scrolling down all these guys, 150 an hour, 175, 175, and then I get to Drew at like 375 an hour, and I'm like, holy guacamole. And that's probably not expensive for out here. I don't know, to tell you the truth, but I
Yeah, I'm
was
not
just like,
sure.
here you got all these guys that are 150 and 175, 175, 175, and then you go to a guy who's a tour coach that has a few tour players, and all of a sudden I think I don't know if it's a license to steal or whatever, but I don't know even know why I brought that up. I just think that's fucking expensive as shit.
It is, and I've actually seen 2 guys out here, and I'm blanking on Finau's coach's name.
Boyd,
Um,
Boyd Summerhays.
yes, he's up there in terms of price. I think he's in close to
Yeah, he
that
should be.
500
Yeah,
price
he should be,
point.
I think.
And
Yeah.
then there was another guy that caught me off guard that, like, played professionally. I can't remember his name by any means, but he was like $500 an hour, and I'm like, "You have no business being at
Yeah.
$500
I
an
know.
hour." Now
Well, I
Boyd,
guess
yes.
yeah, well, Boyd, I understand, and I think you get Boyd because he played on tour and and it's a summer haze, right? So his whole life has been studying. the golf swing. But I think a guy like Boyd gets up to $500 an hour just because he's on the road so much, he's out here so much, he's with his kids so much, and you probably don't get when you do get a chance to see him, it's probably needs to be probably needs to be that rate if it makes any sense. But everything's fucking expensive right now, right? I swear I
Super
buy the same
expensive,
stuff at Trader
everything.
Joe's and Whole Foods, and last week I'm like, man, I this is like $30 more than it usually is. But I'm not complaining because we got Pebble Beach this week. But we're gonna
You
start with
do.
something else.
Well, we're going to start with the Farmers Insurance Open. We're going to do a little
Right,
recap here. I mean,
right.
we got to kickstart with Bobby, your
Oh,
baby Buster just had a kid, Max Homa,
okay,
Kelly
okay.
Roots.
I don't want to get fucking aggressive early with
Well,
my
you might
comment,
have
but
to.
you're making me mad because I said 80 to 90% of them, and I keep fucking
So
bringing that up
he's
to
the
you.
exception to the rule.
But look at your hair right now. So I think some of that
It
gel
is
got
spot
into your
on.
fucking ear and hit your memory banks and
Oh,
shit like
there's
that.
no
But
gel in here, Bobby. This
yeah,
is natural as shit. Maybe a
no,
blow dryer this morning.
show off, show off. But yeah, that's not that's my own personal theory and my own personal angle. I
Well,
mean,
you're
obviously,
usually right.
yeah, I usually am right. I'm not good at picking, our head-to-head matchups. We'll get into that later. I'm usually wrong on that. The whole, 87,000
Wrong
million people in
pick,
the world know
Caddy.
that.
Wrong
No, you
pick.
so bad, Caddy. But anyways, yeah, I mean that's Max. He's pretty chilled and he's pretty laid back. So if anybody can handle that and embrace that, it's probably going to be him. And not to mention, is this dude like marching up to be like a top three player in the world? Because I watched that golf tournament nonstop because I played 8,000 million rounds there, caddied a bunch, and I've had some luck there. And I just love Poana and I love the golf course, other than number 13, like we talked about. But man, I was just in awe of his action and how good it looks and how he is no fucking scaredy cat. And he just goes and wins tournaments, right? He doesn't hang on to big leads. He just goes and fucking throttles guys. And he's got the best demeanor, it seems like, on the golf course. You know the backstory on Max Homa was he played at Cal and he was kind of okay as a freshman, and then he ended up winning nationals, and he was very highly regarded coming out of college, and it took him a long time. It's an interesting story to get his feet on the ground. He's back and forth to the tour. He struggled. I think he had to make a putt, some crazy ass bogey putt, to actually retain Corn Ferry Tour status or Web.com status at that time. I'm running at the mouth. But when all's said and done, when all the smoldering's done and that kind of stuff, he will probably tell you himself that he just used to get so fucking mad on the golf course and he could not accept bad shots. And once he started maturing with that, and then you combine that with him going to he left Jamie Mulligan, which is Cantlay's guy, and numerous other guys. He's kind of a SoCal legend, Jamie Mulligan. He left Jamie Mulligan. He went to Mark Blackburn, and Mark Blackburn is just shooting up, the teacher rankings, and you combine those things together, and you got your best friend that you grew up with caddying for you, that was a stud golfer himself growing up, Joe Griner, who is just, he's another, I always prop the Cali guys because I think they're just so much more chill than everybody else. No disrespect to your East Coast boys, but
Well, I'm a wreck out there. As soon as things start
everything's,
going wrong,
yeah,
Bobby,
I
I get
know.
angry. I'm just like Max
Yeah.
Homa in his early days, except I'm older than he is.
Fucking figure it out, Matt. Why?
I
What
need
good
that
does it
Bobby Brown
What
chill
does it
around.
do? Like, hey, listen, I ain't no doctor, but I'm just telling you, it just doesn't do. And take it from me,
It
I know. I
doesn't.
stand next to these guys. It doesn't do any good. And why more guys out here don't pick up on that kind of stuff, I don't know. But it is a pleasure to watch Max Homa play golf right now, and that is no doubt. That
That
was a
swing is
super
money.
fuck. It's so good, and what a finish! And it's no, you get to a big. And I told you, I told you last week. Sony's over, Palm Springs is over. Now we're rolling into the fucking varsity. You wouldn't say this Pebble Beach is a varsity event because it's not a very quality field, which is good for us average guys, that's for sure. It's not, but it is Pebble Beach, right? And it is Spyglass Hill, and it is Monterey Peninsula Country Club. And if anybody's ever taken a guy's trip up here, you can go drive all over the nation. Maybe maybe those courses, Sabonic and all those courses that you're familiar with can go head to head, but these babies out here are fucking something
I
special.
was
But
about to say, watch it there, Bobby.
yeah,
Watch it.
well, I mean, flip a coin on what you prefer there, but that fucking leaderboard, Max Homa. Listen, we'll talk about my you kicking my ass in the bet, but the one thing that I did get right was that fucking winning score. Right, I told you between a golf course that golf course was going to be 9 to 14 under, and guys don't get the north like they used to get the north. There was 2 or 3 8 unders for sure, which is probably the max. The max low, I think people are going to shoot, but fucking Max Homa 13 under. Keegan had it going, tried to win that thing. He's 11 under. Colin Markower 10 under. Thagala 9 under. Sung Jae 9 under. Sam Ryder, drama hit. You know what I mean? And drama hit. And Sam's never been in that position before, staring at those kind of guys chasing him. And you just knew that he probably had to get his ass kicked the last hour and a half before. He takes a lot out of it. And I know Sam very well. I caddied for him when he was trying to get status on the web.com tour in 2014. You could tell he had a ton of game. My son Daniel caddied for him for some events on the web.com tour. And he's got a lot of game, but he is not, fuck, no disrespect, but he is not that caliber of player that those guys are. And he just fucking had it going and was making a lot of putts and was very much in command of control of his game. But you make one mistake here, and a guy makes a birdie when you make a mistake, and all of a sudden there's a 2-shot swing and a 3-shot swing, and now all of a sudden that player's on his heels. He doesn't know how to recoup. I don't care how experienced his caddy B, we call him B, is a great caddy. He's been around a long time. I kind of wasn't rooting for Sam, so to speak, because I think Sam, here's the unfiltered part of the podcast. I think Sam has gotten a little bit like that, and there's no rhyme or reason why Sam should have got a little bit like that. Like, I'll tell you a Sam Ryder story. You want to hear a Sam Ryder story?
I
We were
do,
always,
because I
we were
love his
always
fit.
best. We were always best buddies. This is the best part of the show. We were always kind of really good buddies. And when he was coming out on tour, he would call me for suggestions on caddies, and I flip him with a few guys, and they kind of went to work for him. And then they decided they didn't want to work for him. But we were in Detroit in the locker room last year, and we finished late. Okay, here's my story. And we're the only 2 guys in the locker room, and he's coming from one end of the locker room, and I'm coming from the other end, and we're looking right at each other, right? And I pass him, I go, "Hey, Sammy, what's up?" And that kind of stuff, and he kind of looks at me and keeps walking, you know. And I turned around and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Bob, how are you? How was your day today?" And you know what I mean? And he didn't even fucking acknowledge me, and I'm like, "What a fucking cock!" And so So the next morning I see him, I'm like, I'm calling this fucking motherfucker out, right? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna retire in 7 years. I'm calling him out. I go, what the fuck, dude? We're boys. We go way back, and I said hi to you, and you just fucking shine me on like you're some big time motherfucking tour player. And he's like, oh, I didn't even hear you. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was fucking 6 inches from you. So my
He
point
was
is,
locked in, Bobby.
I was rooting. I knew he wasn't going to win. I just knew with that kind of pressure that he was going to win at that big boy golf course. There's too much talent behind him, and he's a great player. And he's kept
You
his.
think he's going to break through?
No, I don't. I don't think he's going to
Hot
break
take.
through because it's hot take because it's 6 years of him floating between 106 and 125. Will he be better after getting his head kicked in? Yeah, he's going to be better. But I mean, Sam Ryder's the kind of guy, like many other guys out here, that has 2 or 3 chances to win every year, and how they handle it, they handle it. But my point was, I was pulling for his caddy B because he's a fucking great dude. He hasn't had any luck, and anytime there's, and I've said it before, there's 70 great caddies out here. How when somebody's a great caddy, like you can go down the list of all the top players, and you just would assume that those guys are top caddies, but they're really not. It's the guys that are battling from that people don't know about, that work for a 50 to 125 guy. There's tons of those guys, and you just wonder sometimes that some of these so-called big time caddies that they had a bag, like I'll just say it, like Troy Merritt or Sam Ryder or something like that. That's when I personally think, and some other caddies, that's kind of when you think who the best caddies are, because we don't necessarily have the varsity creme de la creme who's going to be in the mix 12 or 15 times a year. So I was rooting for B. I wasn't rooting for Sam. I wasn't sorry to have him hit a disaster,
A little
because
grudge there. Little grudge.
I know, I'm
Not
fucking
acknowledging you in
bitter.
the locker room.
Okay. Yeah, what a fucking dick.
You're like
And
Michael
so
Jordan out here.
I
All of
guess
a sudden,
so.
George Carl's not saying hi to him at
Minus,
dinner,
yeah,
and
minus $1 billion and 6 inches one way or the other, however you want to translate that. But anyways, so Sam Ryder finishes great. I meant height, man. I mean, not shillelagh height. so Sam Ryder finishes a good week. Finishes tied for fourth a few ways. Jason Day, John Rahm, Hideki, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler's in there. My guy that I've been kind of propping that I tell you plays really good, that's a rookie, and don't laugh at me on tough golf courses, Eric Barnes gets around there and tied for 13th. And I might get in trouble for saying this, but my brother Gary is like is into golf. He lives where you live. He's in Desert Ridge over there, big football coach and everything like that, kind of a money investor. But I don't know if I'm going to say this the right way. I should say this. I don't know if he gambles on golf, but he texts me. He goes, give me a long shot pick. Guess who I fire out as my long shot pick? Thigala, which was a pretty good one.
yeah,
My brother tells me he was 70-1. I go, Jason Day, if you can consider him a long shot pick. My brother ended up telling me, on Sunday he was 25-1. And I go, if you want a super long shot, it's Eric Barnes. And he ended up finishing T13. So I did a few things right last week.
Bobby, you
But
do a
well,
lot of things right.
but what I didn't do right was tell you that
Zalatoris.
is that a Derby horse never fucking peaks before the Derby.
He shat
So,
himself on Friday, Bobby.
God, do you see that fucking putt he hit on? Do you happen to watch? Because I
I
watched everything.
did.
Because I knew, because after we finished this podcast and everything, and I'm like, man, I just fucking told everybody on fucking national podcast television that Sung J M and Siwoo both play fucking great there, right? My story with Sung J, I think he could have won there a few years ago if he'd have kept his shit together. So I knew I was beat, but that doesn't mean anything because Zalatoris, we were tied. You're like, oh, we're
We
tied.
were
We're both.
tied after day one.
Yeah, but fucking dumb. Sungjae shot 4 under on the south. My guy shot 4 under on the north. That ain't fucking tied. That is not tied. So I knew I was just going to have to hang on for dear life and hope that Will advance to the weekend. So let me tell everybody who didn't see it. Will goes after. Will's got to make birdie. He's had a tough day on Friday. He's got to go after. He goes after 18-2 on the south course, and it's the back left pin, which is tough pin to get at. And he hits it in the right bunker. It's not an easy bunker shot, but it's not a horrible bunker shot. If you let you can chunk and run it out there, and there's a slope like 15 feet short that will run to it. Anyways, he had an okay bunker shot. And he probably had 8 or 10 feet, and I'm like, God, he needs to fucking make this putt. And I've seen that putt 8,000 times, right? And I think you naturally think that it's gonna go left. It's like an 18 on pin, 4 from the left. And when you're above the hole, which he was, you think it's going to go left because if you look at the collar and the fringe out there, everything's sloped that way. But I've had that putt and it just fucking kind of hangs. I was texting my brother. I'm like, God, I got this goddamn podcast fast. I'm under a lot of stress right here. If this motherfucker hangs this thing
You're
on the
under
right edge,
stress.
big stress. If he hangs this thing on the fucking right edge or a ball out right, I'm gonna fucking break this TV, right? And so fucking he hits that fucking putt and he limp dicks that thing out there about a ball outside right, and it just stays there and almost wiggles right. It was not good looking strokes. And congratulations, Matt, you are the champion of the world, up 6,000 pennies. I think I'm gonna get you this week though, because I got a sneaky little sleeper pick that I'm gonna go with, and I'm not gonna reveal that. But just a great tournament. This is when golf starts. I know we're going to go over the old Abu Dhabi thing a little bit later, but that was another great tournament with a pretty fucking salty field in itself. So Torrey Pines in the book, Max Homa. What is this? 6 wins now for Max
6.
Homa. I was on social media. I was on social media checking out the shit today. The Patrick Reed shit because it's very popular right now. He blocked me. I don't know if everybody knows, but he fucking blocked me. What a dick. I don't like him anyways. No big deal. But where was I going? Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, some guy goes, oh, Max Homa, 6 wins, 0 majors. Patrick Reed, 9 wins, 1 major. And Patrick Reed is much the better player. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, this fucking Johnny come lately motherfucker has no idea when was the last. And I just shot him. I go, hey Einstein, when was the last time? How many times has Patrick Reed won in the last 2 years? Because I think Max has won like 4 times within 2 years, right? And of course, he did not answer me back because I know the answer. and it looks like this, it's a big zero. So, anyways, that's my story. I don't think Patrick Reed's is good. Was Patrick Reed a better golfer? And would you say, all in all, his career is more successful than Max's? Yes, at this point,
For
yes.
the
But I
time
think
being.
for the time being, but Max Golfer right now, today, at this point, is a better golfer than Patrick Reed, and that's a ballsy statement. But I'm just going to tell you, this Max Homa is going to end up being in the top 5 in the world here pretty soon.
Can
I
I
think.
tell you that Max
Yeah,
Homa
tell me.
is going to win the US Open at Los Angeles Country Club?
Fucking Cali specialist, right? And it's no coincidence, I'm always propping Cali guys on fucking Poana, right? Because we all grew up on this shit and you know how to putt it. And it's so funny. I'm listening, I like critiquing these fucking knob announcers sometimes, like a guy like Aaron Oberholzer's out there and Craig Perks. And I'm gonna shell Craig Perks right now because there is a fucking ocean pole at fucking Torrey Pines. And it's just not on the greens. I mean, look at the fucking fairways. They're tilted fucking 5 degrees running to the ocean. So one of these Yahoo announcers goes, "Hey, Craig, is there a ocean pool out here?" And he's like, "I mean, mate, I never really believed in that shit too much. And the ocean's all around you at San Diego." He goes, "It's all around the golf course." And I'm like, "What? It's on fucking one side, Craig. It's on the west side. It just runs straight up the fucking coast." And then Aaron Oblerholzer, who is from Northern California, played at San Jose State, if I'm not mistaken. They're like, how you played a ton on Poe. How do you putt Poe? And he's like, "Oh, I was always taught, and I've had success on Poana." And I'm like, "What did you ever win? Fucking one time, maybe in Texas in 1993, douchebag." And he's like, "Oh, I was always taught max break minimum speed." He said on Poana, and I'm like, "I think that's kind of the fucking opposite that you putt Poana. I think you charge
Yeah,
inside
don't you
4 feet
try
or six
to
feet,
get away from
especially with."
grain?
Yeah, well, yeah, Poe doesn't really have grain. I
Well,
mean, you
it's
can
all over
kind
the place, is
yeah,
what I'm
well,
trying to say.
so Poana is, I wouldn't say it's like a weed, but it's almost like a flower mat. So in the mornings, there's a really good Poe is super fucking pure, right? But as the day goes on past 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, it grows and it flowers, so it becomes very uneven. So, I've been around Poe my whole life, and I wouldn't say I've helped coach guys, but I've helped read putts out here, especially this week, at Pebble and Spyglass, where I tell my guys, even if they got a fast putt above the hole, which you really don't want out here at all, but they're like 4 footer, like I tell them what the tendency is. I've seen it, that kind of stuff. And they're like inside the hole and outside the hole. And I'm like, don't let it break. That's the whole thing. Just don't let it break. Get up there and if you can, they usually do, excuse me, make a confident stroke. So that's my rant
Yeah,
on announcers,
I'm
on
with you
Aaron
on it.
Oberholzer and Craig Perks. I just don't get it. I find it's so funny. I like my whole highlight of watching golf is catching announcers making mistakes, and they make a lot. They make a lot. So maybe I'm going to be an announcer if I can clean up my potty mouth, but I don't ever see that happening, Batman.
Well, you're a great fit here, Bobby, so, I don't wanna lose you. That's for goddamn
No,
sure.
well, it's going to come down to a bidding war, Matt.
I
So
will
nobody's going
at
to be
some
interested
point,
in
I
me.
know. God damn it. Fucking major networks. You stop contacting Bobby Brown right now, people.
Ain't nobody gonna contact me. That's for damn sure. Want to swing over to Abu Dhabi, the fucking tournament of the fucking week? Are we there
Well, hang
yet?
on a second, we're
What else?
almost there.
I'm trying to
It's the
skip
great
over you.
debate. I know, you're trying to skip over the great debate
Oh,
of the
this
golf
no, no,
joggers.
not that because
Oh.
I have an opinion on that, but I didn't want you to fucking
Oh my
start
god,
fucking.
hang on a second. We haven't even talked about our penny wager from last week.
Well, we just did.
I
I
mean,
mean,
my
okay.
pick,
Ugh.
Bobby, T5 versus getting cut is not it like that's like
T.
Michael Jordan
There you
taking
go.
on Clyde
Wrong
Drexler.
again. You were T4. Wrong again. You were T4.
Wait, he
You were
wasn't
T4.
T5?
No, he was T4. He was like a
Oh,
three-way T4 or something like that.
congratulations, Sungjae. You
Heard
just
he
gained
was
an extra
all.
spot.
I heard the rumor around the campfire was that he was T4, and this guy's all over his caddy Billy Spencer last week, and he's giving him. And I heard through the grapevine, and it's a very private grapevine that somebody told me that like he was all over Billy bad, and because he doesn't win as much as he should, right? For this reason, I'm going to tell you. And he was like, and Billy's a fucking little short, stocky, hockey playing fucking from Toronto badass, right? And he was fucking all over. Oh, you so bad, Caddy. You fucking where's Caddy? This and that. And fucking, I guess Billy went up to him during the fucking hole. He goes, you say that to me one more time. This sounds like a movie. One more time, and I'm gonna fucking knock you out. Kind of this things I said to him. So there wasn't Billy didn't
Wow.
knock him out, but I think Billy's like getting to the point like I fucking this kid needs to fucking shit or get off the pot. But it's not like Billy's not like
Well,
me. He's not gonna fucking leave.
he shot the bed on Friday on the North course.
Yeah,
He played the South
yeah.
course brilliantly.
But can I tell you something? He is like one of the best players in the world on the South. He did it with me for a couple of years too. I can't figure out how this guy can't get around the North course. He probably just it's something about it. Something about it. He's not comfortable. It's usually the tee shots there he's not comfortable with because the South is the South. It's a major golf course, right? But the North is fucking tight, right? And
It
the
is.
North is tight, and he's just not comfortable there. So, anyways,
Well,
Matt beat me
there's
out,
that.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't even close. I had a missed cut.
It was
I'm
Michael
gonna get you
Jordan
this week.
versus Clyde Drexler. That's exactly what it was last
Okay,
week. And
Clyde Drexler could play.
I did it out of spite of picking Sung Jae just so that I could say, wrong pick, Caddy. Wrong
Yeah.
pick.
You say that again, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face.
I'm sorry for rubbing it in, but now we got to get to the great debate because
Yes.
social
Yeah.
media erupted. We had certainly even Phil Mickelson was chiming in on this,
Yeah.
claiming that is not a fashion guy, and that's a bunch of malarkey because Tom Ford is like literally he was bragging about his pants that he wears Tom Ford pants and all this and that, and he at one point had a full button down. Remember that one? That thing looked
Yeah.
hideous. That was
Yeah, that
terrible.
did.
I mean,
Yeah. I didn't
that
even know
didn't
Tom
make
Ford
it.
was I thought Tom Ford made ladies' purses or something. Are they still in business?
Sunglasses,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
lot of
I
that kind
s
of stuff.
I see it
But
at TJ Maxx a lot, right?
he no,
No?
no, no.
I'm kidding.
But
Maybe
he
it was Marshall, so
he
I don't know.
commented saying, "I don't understand this. You got a leader on tour. They don't allow shorts, but they're allowing 8 inches of ankle or whatever."
Ankle.
He ended up
Right.
saying. But here's my
Right.
take: is that
Go.
the one thing being from New York and living in New York City, and as recently as of 2020, being in New York City, right in Midtown, like style is whatever
Yeah.
everybody kind of likes and ends up moving towards. And there was a big movement in style towards pants that didn't go all the way down to your shoe so that you could see the
Mhm.
sock. And that's a
Yeah.
big, like, business move with suits,
Yeah.
custom suits, especially. The thing that I really actually like, and I'm going to take a step back here because I do want to get your opinion before I fully go into my whole thing with the joggers. But this
Yeah.
has been around for a while, folks. Like being able to see whether or not somebody's wearing socks or not. Like that was a big thing in business in New York City was like the guys that were walking around where their pants were tailored a little bit higher. You could see the ankle and you had loafers on to where you were wearing really boat
Yeah.
socks for the most part
Yeah.
that are or the no-show socks. And
Yeah, no shows.
but Bobby, what's
It's
your take on the joggers?
I
You
like
like
them.
them? Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. I like them. I think, you know I don't know if I could wear them, like but, I live in jogger sweatpants, you know what I mean? Which are obviously the same style, not as tight fit, but I like it. I think it's stylish. I think Sam rocked it great. I think he is a little bit of a fashionista out there, to tell you the truth. I think Justin Thomas looks great in them when he wears them, and the few other guys. I can't think whoever else wears them because it's mostly the Grayson guys, right? It's the Grayson
Yeah.
Clothier guys,
Grayson's
and
got a great
and
jogger.
and they have a great line, and you know who the brainstorm behind Grayson is, right? That's Morgan Hoffman.
Yep.
The player that was out here that got sick and he's moved to what Costa Rica and living the natural life and healing himself because he didn't want to go to doctors and eating properly. So, Luke Donald wears Grayson. There's 5 or 6 dudes out here, and I think they're creating a fashion sense. Fashion has changed so much in golf. I'm sitting here all day the last 2 days. There's a huge college tournament going on in North Ranch in Westlake Village, Southern California, which is kind of the big tournament starting this spring for college. And I'm watching all these kids, and they all look fucking great. There's none of them wearing joggers, but they're all wearing hoodies now, and that got shelved for a while too. And let me tell you something about Phil's little, you can't. It's funny the PGA Tour won't let you wear shorts and that. So my little burner Twitter account, I fucking hit him right back, and I'm like, well, you're not supposed to gamble on the PGA Tour either, but dot 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 dot. So Phil's
Wow,
getting a
there it
little
is.
fucking Phil's getting a little sassy. Supposedly lost fucking 30 pounds. Looks like he's been doing a lot of crank. He's all sucked up and everything like that, but he's backfiring shit. You heard what did I'm getting off the beat path once again. What a surprise for me. But I think they look good. I think they look good. I think young kids love them, and the younger generation buys clothes and that kind of stuff. And I always was under the impression that, man, if the young kids, nobody was wearing fucking bright orange pants and bright orange shirts and a bright orange Puma hat until Ricky came around, and he changed that all single handedly. So it's the style right now. I give these guys power for being independent and wearing what they want, and most importantly, I like the fact that that like guys like Sam and JT, they're confident in what they're wearing. And if
Dude,
you,
Sam looked fucking
yeah,
fire
he's
in that
fresh.
fit. I mean,
Yeah,
those
he's fresh.
the Merlot looking
Yeah,
joggers with the
yeah,
black. I mean, he looked
yeah,
like a damn pimp out there. I'm sitting
yeah,
there
yeah,
going, this is the best fit that I've
yeah,
seen on tour in a long time. Like, I haven't been
yeah,
this excited about another dude's
yeah,
outfit
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
But
You know,
that's where I like the joggers because they've
yeah,
got
they
that
look
fit
good.
to them, that
Yeah,
they come to a point, right? That they've
yeah,
got that tailored. My issue is when guys wear the pants that are too short, but they're too wide around the ankle.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just like it's almost like a
yeah,
capri pant. That I
yeah,
can't stand. But
yeah,
the joggers that come down and have that elastic towards the bottom that kind of
yeah.
wraps them around, that's sharp. I love that.
Well, I like that, and I will tell you when we get we're gonna get some cold mornings, and I've been to tournaments before where I'm like, well, I'm wearing my Under Armour jogger sweats over my shorts and everything like that. You know what I mean? And I'm fucking looking in the mirror and I'm like, God damn, I look fucking fresh. I look good. You know me, brand new tennis shoes,
Hell
Air
yeah.
Maxes, and then I walk up and down the range like, oh, did you just get out of the gym or something like that? And I'm like, yeah, yeah,
See,
you
that's
gonna
the
catch up?
egos though.
Yeah, that's totally egos. But yeah, so I'm into that. I skipped a couple points that I wanted to talk about that Torrey Pines
Yeah,
tournament.
go
So
back.
I want to. I don't know if you were aware of that, but did you see? Was it on Thursday or Friday, they live mic'd, Max Homa on 13 all the way of his playing
Oh
13. They
yes, I
live mic
did.
Yeah, they live mic'd
Yeah.
him. So, they do that on the DP World Tour, but they really just do it when a player's walking off the tee box and they talk to him in between shots. But they kept Max rolling for the whole hole, how he was gonna play it. Like they were asking him before he was waiting for the green to clear on 13, and he was talking about, well, if I don't know what my number is yet, but because you guys are fucking talking to me, but if it's inside 280 front, I'm going to try and push one up there and get in the bunker. But I don't. And he's telling you where he wants to be in like how he's playing chess, how these guys are going to play checkers and chess on a par five. Which I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is a little. You could say it came from the DP World Tour, but it's maybe they're incorporating a little bit what Live does at the same time for the viewers and that kind of stuff. But it kept going on all the way, and I was like checking out his caddy because it got to the point and I'm like, okay, this is too much now. This guy's trying to, get in position to win a golf tournament. And I thought it got to a point too much. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, God, I'm going to ask Joe what he thought, like Joe Griner, because I thought they were going to do it all through the weekend, but they only did it that one little time. But I don't think it was right to do it the whole hole. This is my own opinion. And I wonder, like I said, if I was a caddy, I'd be like, okay, fucking that's enough now. My guy's trying to get into the shot. So I'm gonna throw that. That's the first thing. You want to know when I knew Sam Ryder was gonna get beat? When Amanda fucking Baloney, whatever her
Yes.
name is,
With
when
his
Amanda
mom.
Baloney, and she's a sweetheart. I've met Sam's mom. Pulls her out of the ropes on 14, and she starts going through this spiel like, the two things I want to do in life was see Sam make a hole in one, and she showed up at some tournament. Sam made a hole in one. It was Phoenix. It was 16
Yep.
at Phoenix, the greatest hole in one you could ever make.
Last
And then
year.
she goes, and now I'm here to watch him win or something like that. And Amanda Baloney, I'm going to call her because I don't like her. And I'll tell you the story why I don't like her is because we were at a British Open in 2014 with Brendan Steele, and he played pretty good the first day. And we're warming up, and Brendan's so nice, he would never say no. But we're warming up, trying to get into the game face zone, and she's like, "Oh, can I talk to you for a few minutes?" And she's doing this like big interview, and Steely's kind of loud when he talks, and other players are like looking around. It was just like, so I don't like Amanda Baloney from that whole thing. And plus, she's not hot, dude. Anybody who goes on social media and says she's hot, you got to see her up close because that fucking beak right there is. Let me give you a
Oh
side view of my
no.
beak. See
Oh,
my beak?
Bobby's
It's
taking
big.
aim. Taking
Yeah.
hard aim.
Just because this is going to offend all our women listeners, all 8 of them, or just because you have big boobs does not make you hot. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe at 2:13 a.m. after 47 drinks, that is attractive. But so I knew he was fucking cooked when the mom fucking came out to do a fucking
Yeah,
interview and say,
that was the
and I'm
kiss
going to
of death.
watch him. Yeah, and then it all fucking it all spiraled down. And what does he do? He fucking doubles the next hole. So Bobby Brown rant number 3.
You know what I
I
did
got
like
more.
though?
What?
Dottie Pepper. So
She's
as
awesome.
yeah, well, as Sam Ryder, she's standing right behind him.
Uh-huh.
And on the broadcast, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but they asked Dottie what like her take or whatever it was at the time, and Sam's right in front of her, and she literally turns towards Sam and is like yelling it that he has had a great tournament. There's a lot to take away from it. He has played
Yeah,
fantastic throughout. He
yeah,
really should be proud of himself. And she's yelling it literally at him as they have
right.
the camera on him and she's behind him. I thought that
Mhm.
that was a real classy move from her
Yeah.
because
Well,
she
she
knew that as a player, you need that positive feedback to just
Yep.
understand, not to be completely devastated because he was. He was completely devastated at that
Well, of
point.
course, anybody's gonna be at that point, but, I like her, and, she's just super honest, she's super experienced, but I don't know if you remember watching her play. She was a fucking badass, right? Like, she
She
got
was
this fucking
spicy.
s she got this scowl on her face, like, "You're not gonna fucking beat me," and
Yeah.
she was like a female bulldog, and I have the utmost respect for her, and I got a couple caddies out here that are caddy buddies of mine that, with that caddy for her on the LPGA, and she said it would. They're like it was like caddying for a fucking dude, down the stretch. That they weren't going to let. She wasn't going to let somebody beat her, and I just have the utmost respect for her. She's well, for all my rant on these little riffraff Amanda Baloney and all these other announcers and that kind of stuff. Baloney.
Baloney.
That's a Bobby Brown original, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones too. I don't like that fucking Mark Immelman. He's got the token job because his brother's Trevor Immelman. But like when guys are hitting the shot and he's like, "Oh my, what a handsome shot!" I'm like, "What the fuck is a handsome shot, Matt? Look at you. You're handsome. That hair is handsome. I've never seen a golf shot that was fucking handsome. I've
Um,
seen shitty ones and really good ones, but I've never seen handsome ones.
it's a
What else
valid
is
take.
next?
Well,
What
next
else?
is
What's
the
this?
Dubai Desert Classic. I think we knocked out the joggers versus no joggers. I think
Treegate?
joggers all day, baby. Joggers are fire. Joggers are fit. Joggers are, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, they're in.
Now they're in.
Joggers are in.
They're
They're
in.
in.
So Dubai Desert Classic recap. We had the
Yes.
entire drama with Rory
Yep.
and Reed. But what's amazing is that it actually came down to them two, and it
Yeah.
literally was Rory needing to hang on to beat Patrick
Yeah.
Reed. And you know that
Yeah.
motivation was right there for him
Yeah.
to just go,
Oh
I
yeah.
am not losing this
Yes.
fucking tournament to this guy.
Yes. After round 3, they had a bunch of rain delays, so it got carried over an extra day or whatever. I'm not sure what the time is because I've never been over there in Abu Dhabi, but Rory had a let me see if I can remember this. Rory had a few shot lead swinging into the last round, and Patrick started going Yahtzee in the group, and it's always tough. He's in the group in front of Rory, so Rory's seeing everything, and Rory was obviously struggling, didn't have his ace shit. So what an exciting finish. So it's like he was hanging on, he was trying to hang on, but honestly, he had to birdie the last hole, and he almost drove it in the creek off the tee. You saw that, and then he had to lay up on a very hittable par five, and he hit a wedge in there. Not a great wedge, but an above average wedge to like 12 feet. But you just knew he was gonna fucking bury that putt because of all the shit that happened with fucking Patrick Reed on seven. I assume it was 17. Was it 17? I think it was. It was 17. Tree gate, the ball in the tree.
Oh, the tree
Let's
gates. All
just
right.
go.
Hang on a second. I
Do you want
do
me to
have
scroll
to
down the? Go ahead.
I gotta stop you there because this is probably gonna be the first time and last time that I will ever defend Patrick Reed. But
Okay.
he knew the ball went into the trees. Now, Brandel Champley took the
Bless his heart.
footage and
Yeah.
literally like showed that it went into the first tree. Patrick
Right.
Reed confirmed via binoculars that his ball was in the third palm tree, which was
Right.
another like 10 yards further up.
Right.
And I just have to say this. You
What?
got to use common sense. And this is where I hate the fucking rules of golf because common sense tells you, yeah, hit it in the fucking tray. It didn't come out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a lost goddamn ball.
Okay.
But I mean, that's to me, I just look at it as we're nitpicking. We are literally picking on a
Right.
guy that
Okay.
isn't liked. And I think that's what
Right.
James
Okay.
Hahn was getting at on Twitter as
Yeah.
well,
Well, no,
because
what James was
everybody
getting
was go
what
ahead.
James was referencing, I talked to James about this today. What James was referencing was more the T flick, right? That we made a big
Okay.
deal out of the T flick, which I watched it 40 times. It wasn't that aggressive
No.
of a T flick. You know, it was the media is going to blow it out proportion. PGA Tour versus Live, so you expect that kind of stuff. But it's funny, we were having this conversation. We played Pebble today in a practice round, right? And we're having this conversation because numerous balls have stayed up on in the we have a tree in the middle of the fairway, right center of the fairway at about 270 at Pebble, and numerous balls have stayed in that tree, right, and have gone nowhere. And numerous balls have stayed in the tree that flanks the over the right bunker, that tree right behind you, right there. Numerous
Yep.
balls. It happened to Troy one year, and it kicked him from fourth place down to ninth place or something. He was telling the story. The tree in the fairway happened to Tom Hoagie, even though he won here last year. Happened to him a few years ago when he was charging in T3 or T4, and had he made a birdie or an eagle, he might have had a chance to win, and it stayed in the tree in the fairway. So I'm gonna go it this way. How do I say this? Um, if you lose a ball in casual water, right, and it goes underground, or there's a big casual water in the fairway, and you know it went in there, and you saw the splash, right, and it's obvious that it went in there, you're getting relief, right? So I think, and most of us think, like the Tom Hoagie or the Troy Merritt thing, where else could it go?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's got to be up there. But my point with sketchy ass Patrick Reed. Okay, here's my whole fucking point with sketchy ass Patrick Reed is that obviously it did not go in the tree, he said, because my Bobby Brown theory is that he didn't tell the official, from what I heard, what his markings were until after he put the binoculars up and looked. And he said, I marked my Pro V with a line and an arrow at the end because most Pro Vs don't have the arrow. And I'm pretty sure that I caddy every day for a guy that plays Titleist. And the Pro Vs on the script are made with
Yeah.
arrows at the end, right? So my conspiracy theory is, and another thing too, is that most guys mark their golf balls before the round and they'll put two or three sleeves in the bag. It's very rare that you see a guy mark a ball on a tee, on a retee, unless because the only time you see him mark it, Matt, is because their balls are already previously marked with their line or their two dots or their initials or kids' initials or something like that. They're putting another dot in a different place. So if he happens to hit it the same place for this provisional, so to speak, that they don't get him confused and he hits the wrong ball. So my theory is the fucker grabs the binoculars, he looks up, he spots a Pro V, and he goes, "Yeah, those are my markings. It's a line with an arrow at the end." And the official goes, "Okay, you're 100% sure?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm 100% sure." And the official goes up and verifies, "Yeah, that's a Pro V with a line and an arrow up there." So I think he could have reached into his golf bag at some point. I know other guys would have and go, "Hey, listen, this is how I mark my ball," and show him an example. Of course, he's not going to do something like that. So I guess the whole point is it was obviously it went in a tree, right? It was obviously stuck up there. You can't play it. You got to identify it. So I understand that whole thing, but he's just so fucking damn sketchy. I feel like he lied about that whole thing. You want to know what I heard this morning, and I can't find it on social media, but I don't know if it's true. Is Victor Hovland's caddy is a buddy of mine. He lives by me in Charleston, Shea, and he said that somebody supposedly climbed up in that tree and pulled the ball down that he identified, and obviously it wasn't his, because we know it went in the first tree and not the third tree. But when is karma? Is him finishing second? Is that karma? Is him
No.
not winning in 2 years? Is that karma? We're such big karma guys, caddies, and players out here. You don't dare. I see fucking guys do fucking. I worked for fucking Eric Axley for 2 years. This guy would hit it over green or short side himself, buried in 6-inch rough. And by the time I turned around or moved the bag or something like that, I could see a lot more golf ball than I could before. And Sergio does it too. They get down there and they fluff. So there's shenanigans that go on all the time.
You know
You
what it
want to
is?
know what?
the karma is that he keeps ending up in these situations,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
keeps getting criticized about it,
yeah,
and that's why he feels the need to send all these defamation lawsuits to every
yes,
media outlet
right,
in
yeah,
existence, which, by the way, CNN did not come out with apologies. So where is this $800
right,
million lawsuit?
right,
But that being
going,
said, he does constantly end up in these scenarios, right? And it's
yes,
like, man, he's getting scrutinized because he consistently states one thing, but the
right,
camera's picking up something else. And I think
right,
that's the dilemma, but that's going to be,
right,
I mean, his legacy is tarnished, in my
yeah.
opinion,
It's
because
been
of
tarnished
all, it's been tarnished since day one, really, of
college,
him coming
since
out of college.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been tarnished since college. So, but I'll give him props. I always rip on him for the character that he's supposed to be and that he's not. But I've always said, on the other hand, he is a phenomenal golfer, and we all know that. You
He
know what
can
I
play.
mean? The guy can fucking flat out get it going. I mean, I think maybe he's got a little bit of he got the huge chunk from Live, and his maybe he doesn't work as because he was a super hard worker. I'll vouch for that. And I maybe he's just taking it down a notch as far as working. Did you happen to see the fucking I saw it on social media today. His his statement regarding that whole thing. Did you
No.
happen to see that? It was on an iPhone. It was a text message on an iPhone that he put out there, and you guarantee you the fucking bitch, his wife Justine Reed. She's probably the bitch that blocked me too, and I got blocked by Patrick Reed. Everybody, oh bummer. Um, fucking deuce.
I get a
And
I get a kick out of every
but
time
this
Bobby posts
statement,
on his private account on Instagram that he's blocked
yeah.
by somebody else. I'm like, oh God, you're such a savage.
I mean, they're beating me up. First, it's Kep Henley last week.
Uh,
I catch him in another fucking bullshit lie, and I call him out, and
I
I
didn't
wake up the
even know
next
who Kip
morning.
Henley was until
Yeah,
you got
exactly.
blocked by him, and then I had to look him up, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Oh, you didn't know he won the big break like 20 years ago? He beat another
Fuck
caddy in
no.
the
The
big
only
break.
guy who knows who won the fucking big break was Mikey Perez.
Yeah, exactly. A real golfer, a real golfer. But anyways, I will say this: Rory gets it done, and that meant a lot to Rory because he wanted to fucking slam Reed. But how I like going through these DP World events, and I'm going to give respect where respect's due because I always cut and go, "Hey, how the live guys do?" Because
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they play like shit. But I'm gonna suck it up like a man and say that they fucking played great. I mean, Patrick Reed gets beat a shot, right? Richard Poulter plays fucking great. I've been bagging on him
You
not being
have
in
been
the
pegging
mix,
on
but
Poltz.
yes, for 2 years. He finishes sixth. Richard Bland finishes eighth.
Wow.
Stenson finishes like 10th. I think Justin Harding played pretty good. So all the live guys have a great showing. So I'm gonna say to those live guys, a fucking great player, great playing. You know what I mean? I think your time is other than Reed, your time is
Their
past.
season's coming up though, Bobby. They're all starting to
There
put
it
in the
is.
practice.
Oh my god, did you see they're all blowing up on social media now and everything like that, smash, high flyers, Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson, I read this thing about Bubba Watson today, and he's like, "Oh, the live decision was so easy for me because I was hanging out with my 10-year-old Caleb, and we were watching live, and he knew and he called the four aces. What are they now? The four aces or the
The
acers? What are
four
they now?
aces.
The four aces, yeah,
Yeah.
the four fucking offsuit eight of clubs or whatever is what those fucking misfits are. But anyways, he was like, oh, and he was comparing the four aces to like the Yankees or, or the Cowboys or something like that. So I went into my little rant on firing back on social media where I'm like, 11-year-old kids at his club, right? It's 7 o'clock. The sun's going down. His parents are in the parking lot waiting for him to pick him up, but he's standing over a 10-footer. And no 10 or 11-year-old ever has gone, this 10-footer is to win the Live Golf Miami event. No 11-year-old is ever said that, and no 11-year-old is ever going to say that because Bubba says, because now that this is happening, and my kid's so involved that now it's time for us to attract people between the ages, he's so dumb, Bubba. People between the ages of 10 years old and 60, what a big window. And he goes, and now all these people are going to be able to see now that we have team in golf. And then he says, all these young kids are going to be able to watch that on the golf channel. And I'm like, the golf channel's televising live now, dumb Bubba.
It's on the
Fuck.
CW. In between
Yeah.
One Tree Hill and Dawson Creek reruns. Gotta love it.
Oh my God, he said Golf Channel, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, does nobody spell check or do any kind of fucking check on these fucking idiots when they make these comments?" But um,
No,
uh, no, no. What else
no,
is
they
next?
don't.
Because I got some live breaking news that came out today too.
Well,
When you want to,
we're not quite there
where
yet,
are
Bobby.
we?
We're at
Where
the
are we?
AT&T. We're where you're at
Oh
right
yeah.
now. I mean,
See
look
my
at
picture
that.
back
You
there?
got Arnie
First of
Palmer
all,
and Jack Nicklaus
yes,
in a photo frame
yeah.
behind you. I go, Bobby,
So
where
let
the
me tell
hell
you
are you right now?
where let me tell you where I'm staying is a very dear friend of mine, Dave Vivolo, and his wife, Debbie Vivolo. And Dave, let me tell you, Dave is a kind of an important guy around here around the peninsula. He was director of golf at Monterey Peninsula Country Club, which we play, which is a very ritzy club for 25 or 30 years. And they've hosted me the last couple years. They drive me to the golf course at the crack of dawn in the morning. They eat dinner with them. I barricade by myself, but it's a house that's full of golf memorabilia and some really cool stuff. And he was cleaning out his garage today, and he's showing me all these clubs that he's accumulated over the years. Like, he has a Karsten putter. Remember the first one that came out that was like not the answer, but the one that was funky looking that went ping. That's where he got the ping name from it.
The Ping
The
Zing.
ping. Okay, the Ping Zing, whatever it was called. He has got one of the original ones that Karsten built in his garage that's stamped "Made in Redwood City," right? And I was
Wow.
just like, and if you're as old as me, you know all about 8802s, Wilson 8802s, and all these old irons. And he's showing me all this cool shit, and he's like, "What do you think this is worth?" And I'm like, "Man, it's fucking great shit to look at, but." Technology's changed, and I just don't think there's not that he'd ever get rid of it, not that
There's
there's a
collectors
market
though,
for it, but
Bobby.
it's all golf in this house, and I'm so pumped up. And I came in, I flew in a Sunday. I flew into Monterey at about 1:30. Sketchy airport to fly into. Let me tell you something. You're coming through the hills in Salinas, and it's bumpy as shit. And you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything. I know we're close to the ground. I hope he doesn't hit the mountain. But I made it. These golf courses took a lot of rain a month ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and they are pure as shit right now. We played Spyglass yesterday morning at 8:30. Typical Spyglass, right? The fairways are soft and kind of, I wouldn't say plugging, but they're not really running. The greens are firm as shit. Man, everybody, I'll tell you what, it's too bad if people that don't get a chance to play up here. Obviously, you want to play Pebble, right? But if you ever get a chance to play Spyglass Hill, they had the USAM there, and that was the other course that they used with Pebble when Hovland won the USAM. But there's something special about that Spyglass. Have you ever played Spyglass before?
I have not.
Robert Trent Jones Sr., 1966. Um, Maybe the best opening of 5 holes of golf that I've ever seen in my life. You start up on this way elevated tee. You're staring at the ocean. It's a big dogleg right to left par five. Tons of trees, and then you make your way all across the ocean through the dunes and ice plant and everything. And then when you get to six, you move back through the trees, and it's just a special place. So, man, you know my deal here, right, man? I got a deal here, bro. I got a deal here when I come back, and it's not just the deal because I've had so much luck and I have so many great memories, not just tour memories, but caddying with the guys and learning how to be a caddy and learning what to say and learning how to read putts. And the greens behind you are so small, you memorize them after a while. And I get to see all my old buddies that are 20 years older that are still caddying up here, and they have celebrities or amateurs in this thing. Not many, none of them with the pros. And we played Spy yesterday. It was awesome. We played Pebble today. It's Chamber of Commerce Day the last 2 days. And look, whatever it looks like behind you right now, it looked like all day, other than the fact that when we tee off at 8 in the morning, I get here at 6 and it's fucking 37 fucking degrees. And I have shorts on, I have joggers, I have FootJoy rain pants, I got about 4 fucking layers, a beanie, a muffler thing, and it's pretty
What are
sick
you
out
doing with a
here, dude.
muffler thing?
Well, what do you call here, I'll show you what I got. Hang on, you wanna see it? Titleist came out with these
What
things. I wouldn't
is
say it's a
this thing?
muffler, but it's
What
what do you think
is
I can get for
that?
that baby on eBay?
A
That's one of those
snood?
things
It says it's
what
a
are those
snood.
what'd you
Look,
call me?
look at the label. It says snood.
It
S
Yeah,
S
let
N
me
O O
translate that.
D. Neck
Yes,
warmer.
neck warmer. It's snood wherever they made it.
That's a snood.
I'm keeping this one. I got an extra one. I'm keeping this like this because I figure if I keep all the tags on and everything like that, I'll blast this motherfucker for 100 on eBay. Tour release. And this is a big week for if you're under
I'm still
contract with
waiting
the
for my Christmas present. You can just
settle
give me
down. I'm
that.
waiting for mine. Hey, I'm bringing
It's
it to
here.
Scottsdale.
I could grab it right now. You're gonna
Listen,
need it.
listen, once a year, like I have a hat deal with Titleist. I'm not going to tell anybody how much it's for, but I got a hat deal with Titleist. So you get, obviously hats and you get rain gear, but this is like the week that they give out the rain gear. So it's like going to school for the first day. So me and Troy are like waiting for our new rain gear and they came, Navy's my power color. It's usually
Yeah.
always with black, but they went to Navy. They got this new Hydrolite. I'm gonna pimp them, prop them right now. They got this new Hydrolite rain pant in navy that actually has a drawstring. It's not like super heavy or anything, and it's just man, I was fucking rocking my whole navy today and
Sounds
everything.
legit.
And I told Troy, and he's like, told Troy, and I'm like, God, he's like, Bob, you're rocking the new rain gear. I go, yeah, I fucking feel good right now, dude. How do I look? He goes, you look good, Bob. You look real good. And I go, usually I keep the tags on for about a year because when I'm done with them, I sell them. He's just like, you're such a piece of shit. And I'm like, but I took the tags off because I'm keeping these ones. So, anyways, so I'm super excited, dude. I'm super excited. It's our major, and I told you can I tell you something? My man has been struggling with the putter, and I got him to go back to the white yes putter and we shared some information. I was telling you, I think we got the putting figure it out when his coach was sending me
Yeah.
pictures of, and you saw it how hunched over he was with the short putter, and it just didn't look good. And you know, so I got to he gave me the bag yesterday morning. He goes, "I'm going to show you something," and I'm like, "Okay." And he pulls off the putter cover, and it's a putter I've never seen before. It's the black version. It's a yes putter. It's called the Molly, right? And it's a longer black version, like 35 or something like that. It's a fucking sick looking putter, right? And I go, "What's the story with this putter?" And he goes, it's the putter I used when I won twice on the PGA Tour, my two wins. And I'm like, well, why the fuck haven't I seen this before? So my man, we play a lot of golf. We play 18 holes yesterday, 18 holes today at Pebble, and then we'll play 18 at MPCC at 8:10 tomorrow morning, right? And my guy, I've never seen it. He is on a mission. He is fucking hitting 15 fucking putts from fucking 3 feet. He knows this place because it comes down 3 to fucking 8 footers here. And a lot of them are for par. And he's hitting these wicked breaking putts and he's taking 10 to 15 minutes on every fucking green. That's why we play early when it's not crowded. And he is just on a fucking mission, with the putter. Um, uh, so that's what I got. My guy's fucking like putting in a lot of work this week and I've always not chastised him or criticized him, but he's not the hardest worker living in Boise and he just comes out and plays and does his fucking thing. But you can just tell there's a little twinkle in his eye and he is not going to be, he is not going to let this year slip away to a balky putter. So I'm super excited. I'll give you another personal report after MPCC. That place behind you right there, I'm super comfortable on. Spyglass, I'm super comfortable on. This MPCC Country Club, I've been over fucking 200 times. They redid it in 2003 when I was here. I think Gil, is it Gil Hans or Mike
Yeah.
Strands? One of
I
those
think it's
guys went and
Gillhands.
redid it. So I haven't seen it yet, but these Poana greens there are like they almost look like weed, like marijuana. They're like this purple Poana, and I always
Get you
struggled
real
reading them
high out there, Bobby.
get you real high. But me and Troy were talking. I'm like, how is it that I've been with a guy like Dustin Johnson who's won twice here? I've had a few other top fives, a ton of top tens. I think I was doing the math. I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm like, I probably caddied in 17 of these AT&Ts, and I'm like, I can think of one miscut when he first started dating Paulina, so you can figure why that was a miscut. And I'm like, I've never had somebody go Yahtzee at MPCC. So me and Troy were talking about it, and this gentleman I'm staying with, Dave Vivolo, he calls us. I'm like, I was telling him the story. He goes, "Let me call the superintendent and see if I can give you any help." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! We're not bringing in the fucking grounds crew, the superintendent." But he did give me. I'm not going to share it on air, but he did give me a little bit of information that might help us make one or two putts at MPCC
I
because
like it.
I knew that I'm not as comfortable on this golf course, and this is where I'm at a caddy, even at an old age. So every year that a guy has a putt, even if we're not having a putt that I see on the green, I'm writing down when it does, right? So I was looking through my book a little while ago, and I'm like, well, fuck, I got everything that you need to know the tendencies on all these holes. The super gave me a little tidbit of information that could end up being helpful. But you know what's weird about these Poana greens here, like at Pebble Beach and stuff? You can have a pin that is like, let's say, back left there at 18, and it's 26 on and 4 from the left. But as soon as it goes 25 on and 5 from the left, it's a completely different putt, if that makes any sense. That little right wiggle, because most of the putts here, I'll tell people that I've noticed, like, there's a lot of break in a lot of these putts. And I don't know, Matt, if it's just me, but like you can have a 12 footer that I'm calling a cup or a cup and a half outside, right to left. It seems like all the break happens like in the last foot or the last foot and a half. It's not like a consistent break. It just fucking snaps right at the end. So I'm out of breath.
That
I'm ready
was
for the fifth.
great.
I'm ready for the fifth major, bro.
It
This
it
is
is
the fifth
time.
major.
It is
Yeah.
time. I mean, we
Keep it
haven't
out of
even
the
had
bunkers.
major number 1 yet, but it's fine.
God,
It's
yeah.
the 5th
Got to
major.
keep it. I'll give you another little tip. You got to keep it out of the bunkers this week around here at Pebble Beach, because those waves, when those storms came up, I'm going to point behind you, but those waves came up. They washed out a lot of those bunkers, so you could tell. And these historically bunkers, these are plug bunkers. They're resort bunkers, but you could tell they went in and had to rebunker like 18 and a lot of these things from being washed out. And you got to keep them. There's no rough, because there's really no rough, because the amateurs play with us the first 3 days. So they make the pins kind of accessible the first 3 days, and then they tuck them on. Then they tuck them on Sunday. So it was nice to be out there with Troy. We were reliving memories on our start last year on Sunday when we got into the lead, and our double bogey on 17, but we birdied the first 4 in a row. And it's so funny. We were talking about that on 17. We were walking up there and I'm like, what's the deal? That wasn't even a hard bunker shot, And he goes, no, dude, I tried to get cute with it. And he like said it. He's like, I knew I was leading the golf tournament. I got a little nervous. So I set the tee to where that pin was last year, and he threw 3 balls into that bunker. First one he hits out like this. Second one he hits out like this. Third one he hits out like this. And I think I called him motherfucker. I go, oh, you motherfucker. That was the difference between him finishing second or fourth or whatever it was. So we were just sharing some good memories and some good vibes out here. And it's always a pleasure to come back.
I think we need to call this the major before the majors.
Yes, the major before the majors. Or you could just say Bobby's major, exclamation point.
It's Bobby's major.
You could do that.
Bobby's major.
You could do that.
Bobby, your guy's
Yeah.
looking good this week.
Yes. Yeah.
Who are you going to throw out there for our penny bet?
Well,
1,000 pennies.
you see, you always want to break the rules on this deal, Matt. That's your fucking angle, because you're fucking Guido from back east. So listen here, Guido, you won. You got to pick first.
Okay.
Well,
this is going to be
jabroni.
devastating for you.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What's a jabroni?
Oh, boy.
What's a jabroni?
Well, The Rock created, I feel like, the jabroni, but
Yeah.
it's an Italian.
Is it like
term.
a Guido? Like a
No,
Guido?
it's
Like a slang for Guido? Go
It's
Guido.
a slang term for somebody that's an idiot, basically.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you're a
want to know why I
jabroni.
asked that? Yeah, because one of these football players, when that governor from
Kelsey,
whatever,
yeah.
Kelsey, he goes, "You fucking jabroni," and I'm like, "Oh, Matt's trying to jabroni me right now."
Well,
Your pick, jabroni.
You're about to get your brownied all over again, because I tried to give you the ability to pick first, because I'm going to do it to you again. I have been on a streak. I am up 6,000 pennies. I'm about to go 7,000 strong, and I'm going with Troy Merritt.
You can't do that.
I am throwing it at you. Oh,
you
yeah.
can't do that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
this is fucking, this is a jabroni maneuver right there. You can't fucking do that. I'm not fucking rooting. Oh, my fucking people that own this house are probably going to come running in here. Shut up. We got to work tomorrow. You cannot do that, Matt. I can't fucking root against my own guy. Pick somebody against my own guy. How dare you? Now give me your pick. That's bullshit. Look at you. You look like a fucking corpuscle that's going to burst right now. You're so red.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm absolutely dead right now.
Is that a legit? Are you really going to do that to me?
Well, here's the thing. I really like Troy this week, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm gonna go
Okay.
with the
Wait,
generic
let
pick,
me
but you
wait,
cannot
wait.
pick if I
I'm not gonna pick my own guy. I'm not
okay,
gonna put
there
that
you
voodoo
go.
on him.
I love
But let
that.
me ask you a question. I'm gonna fucking slam you right now. Do you even know half the people in this field?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I like
But
it. No, because this is a field that there's a lot of unrecognizable names. That's for
there
sure. I
is,
wasn't
there
being
is.
sarcastic.
No,
Okay,
but
who you got?
I'm gonna go with an oldie, but a newie, but and still an oldie. I'm going with Jordan Spieth.
Okay, I could see that angle here. Hope he doesn't fall off a cliff this year. Um, uh,
He was
I
close
am gonna
last year
yeah,
to
you know
falling
who
off
I'm
a
gonna
cliff.
go with? I could give you 10 picks and you're not gonna know who I go with.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I crushed your little heart there, like you really wanted to take Troy because you know he plays good here. You really did, didn't you?
Well, here's the
But
thing.
that's not fair. But that's not fair. You
I
can't do
know.
that
I
to
no
me.
no no. I did
Yeah.
it as a joke, but at the same time, I knew that if you allowed it, that it would have just eaten away at you, but yet you would
Yeah.
have just you would
I would have
have
rolled with it. I
you
would have
would
rolled
have
with it.
rolled with it, but it would have been one of those to where you're like, God damn it, Troy's playing so good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, I wouldn't care about that. I want the 140,000 and the
Yeah, you don't
trip to
want the
Augusta and going to
1,000
Maui
pennies.
and
I
the match
mean,
play.
but
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
wanted
go.
to rub it in like I got to with the Sung
Okay.
Jae bet, but that's me being a savage. I will go with Jordan Spieth. I'll give you a gimme.
Okay, so I am going to pick somebody that we played a practice round with today, and it's not Grayson Murray. We played with Grayson Murray
Is
today,
it James
but I'm
Hall?
going to go. I no, it's not Jimmy, but I'm going to go with somebody who I think I think Troy's one of the guys to beat here, but I think this guy has slipped through the cracks, and he really is the guy to beat here because he plays great here. I'm going to go with Sheamus Power.
Wow, that's a
That's a
good
good
one. Yeah,
pick.
that is a good
Yeah,
pick.
yeah, and he looked great. He looked great out there today, and I was giving him some shit. I'm like, "You been playing over in Europe and everything, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I had to go over there." And I'm like, "Yeah, good and ready for the fucking Ryder Cup." And he's like, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, "Don't fuck with me, Seamus. I know how good you are right now." So he looks good. So I'm gonna go with old Seaman Seamus Power. Yeah. So I'll give you a little story on
Good old
Seamus
Seamus.
Power. Yeah, Seamus. I'm going to give you a story on Seamus Power. So, there's a big agent out here, Alan Hobbs. He's got Zalatoris, and they got a bunch of people. He's part of Lynn Roach's group, who has Fred Couple, the Hosses, Davis Riley. And remember, I've been propping this second coming of the superstar that I like, Carter Jenkins. Right. So Hobbs works for Seamus Powers. He's from Ireland, but he couldn't get a visa over here. And Hobbs also works for Kevin Stadler. Right. So man, I wonder if I can even say this on the podcast, if it's legal or not. So, anyways, he was having trouble getting a green card and he needed like references or people to sign on. So Hobbs calls up Stads, Kev, and he says, "Hey, I got this Irish guy who I need you to sign a couple things and vouch for him that he's going to come over here and get a green card." And he goes, and Stads goes, "Yeah, what's his name?" And he goes, "Seamus Powers." And Stads is a pretty funny guy, right? And Stads goes, anybody with a first name Seaman Power, I'm gonna fucking vouch for. So that's a little fucking kind of stupid little fucking story, but I don't even know what I said. You can fucking cut it because it's stupid, but
That's great.
I'm gonna go with Seamus. I'm gonna go
All
with
right.
Seamus Power. All
You
right, we
you
got a
got
bet.
semen
You got
power,
speed.
so good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. What else is next?
well, did you see the undercover caddy via Golf Digest
Yeah, I
this
did read
past
that. I
week?
couldn't. I
The
yeah,
drinking problems. I started thinking
yeah.
of a few guys out there.
I thought about 78 of them, but I can't figure out who it is. But it sounds like does it sound like this guy's still out here or he's done?
It sounded like he's done.
Yeah. I'd like to
I
know who
couldn't
it
tell
is.
though. I would
You know,
too.
it's funny when in Caddy Lounge or whatever, when we're all shooting the shit and bullshitting each other and telling each other stories and lies and stuff like that. That those articles never really come up. We never really talk about them for some reason. Maybe a lot of people don't read them, but I read it a couple times, and the guy was pretty brutally honest. But
Yeah.
you just you just have to think that that was then, this is now, so to speak. Excuse me, with the drinking. I make fun of Micah and that kind of stuff, but I also, and some other guys that drink, but I also am quick to let everybody know that Micah is up at 5:30 in the fucking morning, not hungover, and he is ready to go and he's fresh as a daisy and he's one of the best caddies in the world. I know that everybody knows that out here, but that sounds like an old school guy when drinking was allowed. Obviously, for anybody that hasn't read the article, he was working for a very good friend of his who knew that he was showing up hungover, and he gave him numerous chances and that kind of stuff. And that let me just tell you this: ask Brian Ranish, who got blown out by fucking Siwoo Kim, that Siwoo was probably he smelled like vinegar, and now Brian's struggling trying to find another bag because as much as us caddies talk like on this podcast with the gossip and everything, those guys in the locker room or in player dining, they talk more than us. So they all share information about somebody and they'll go to somebody, hey, so and so caddy for you. What do you think? I'm thinking about giving him a chance. So that is something that doesn't really cut it out here. So I think I'd like to know who it was, to tell you the truth, but I don't know if I'll ever find out because they keep that kind of stuff super confidential.
They
The guy
do.
who writes it is not gonna divulge that. But it was pretty interesting. That's how it used to be out here, right? These guys would get fucked up and show up still drunk or hungover, and then go caddy their asses off, which is like a normal club caddy for the
Yeah,
most
that's a
part,
normal club
anyways.
caddy.
I mean, I work for 200 of these guys at Pebble Beach, and I'm not going to mention any names, but they go out and they fucking get after it late, and
Oh
they go
god.
and take a loop at 7 in the morning, and then they get to go sleep it off and at 1 in the afternoon, and they come back and do the same thing all over again. So
I didn't plan on sharing this story, but now that you just brought it up, it just reminded me of a time in Ireland. So I went on this Ireland trip. We're down at Old Head, and one of the caddies, great dude, great dude. And him
yeah,
and I,
yeah,
like, there was a synergy. Like, he read all of the putts, and I'm like, holy shit, a lot of putts are dropping. This is great. And we're in a
uh-huh,
tournament style where it's over the course of like 5 rounds. And we had one more round the next day. Well, we go into town. Him and his brother are caddies, and they end up showing up to come out drinking. He's like, "What do you want to
yeah,
drink? I'll buy it for you. Whatever,
right,
whatever." Like, we're crushing it, and all of a sudden, like, I can drink, so
right,
I'm just doing my normal thing, getting a
yeah,
little fucked up. It's a guy's trip over in Ireland. I'm like, when in
right,
Rome, let's get hammered. And so he
yeah,
tried to
yeah,
go back and forth drink for drink with me. All
yeah,
of a sudden, the next morning, I'm on the putting green and I see his brother and I don't see him. And I go, "Hey, where's Brian?" And his brother's like, "Oh, mate, I don't think he's coming today." And I'm
yeah,
like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "He's not coming."
yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
I think you need another caddy." And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"What?" He's like, "I tried to call him.
Wake him up. Yeah,
I've tried to wake him up. I tried to call him.
yeah,
He's not responsive right now." So
yeah,
he's like, "Yeah, I think you're gonna end up with Timmy over there." I look over at Timmy. Timmy's terrified. He's got no
yeah,
shot in hell. And my God, did I play terrible? And poor Timmy didn't say fucking two
yeah.
words that entire golf round. But that is a
It's
club caddy
funny.
for you.
I'll tell you a little story. The first time I went over to St. Andrews with Dustin way back in the day, I want to say it was like 2010. I'm like, I'm gonna hire a local caddy. I called his agent, David Winkle, and I'm like, hey, I want to hire a local because it's St. Andrews and it's a little tricky, very tricky. If you've never been there, I go, I want to hire a local caddy and pay him a couple $100 and show me the in and outs and that kind of stuff. And then here comes this little tiny little guy, like 5'4". I call it the tank and tonic face, the red leather face with the bumps and everything. He's got the tank and tonic face. You can tell he hadn't fucking slept probably in 2 or 3 days. He's all scruffy and shit like that. He's like, he's giving me the spiel and he's telling me where to hit it. And like every third or fourth hole, he'd like disappear. I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? And I'd look over at the bar, you know what I mean? When they got the low bars up early in the week and he's walking down there with a cocktail and, he must have fucking 6 drinks. So he goes, I go, what do I'm gonna give you a couple $100. He's like, a couple $100? And I'm like, yeah. And he said something to me like, he's like, that's gonna keep me drinking for like 4 days. Where are you going now? He goes, I'm going over to the road hole bar. There's a bar over there or something at the road hole at St. Andrews at the end. I forget what it's called. And he fucking scurried on his fucking way with 200 American doleros. But it's a way of life for those caddies over
It
there,
is.
right? You know that
Well,
that
you would
weather and
think they'd
everything
be
like
able
that.
to hold their booze better than not showing up the next
Well,
day.
yeah,
I thought
that's
I was
true.
in Ireland.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. Anyways, enough about drinking caddies.
LIV Golf. Let's
Yeah,
jump right into LIV Golf, and I just have
sure.
a little statement to make. So for everybody that has listened to this podcast, because I got a little bit of criticism from one of our audience members who clearly is a big LIV fan and knows a lot about the inner workings at LIV, which kind of tells me you might be
Yeah,
working for LIV. But at the
yeah,
same time, I've been the biggest fan of LIV on
yeah,
this podcast. I've
yeah,
been an advocate for it. I'm a big fan.
yeah,
But the one thing I'm never going to do on this
yeah,
podcast is not share with you what my analysis is on something. So even though I like Live Golf, I will be
Right.
critical of it. I will
Yeah.
boast it. I will be
Right.
a big fan of it, but I am going to
Right.
give you what my opinion is. And the
Right.
last couple of weeks, when I have technically gone on my soapbox about it, it's from a business standpoint, okay? It's not from a
Mhm.
product standpoint. It's not from having all these guys out there and playing in team events and everything. Love that side to it. I love the drama that coincides to it because a lot of it
Mhm.
is the guys that the PGA Tour couldn't stand and wanted to get rid of anyways. So it ended up
Right.
working out in a lot of ways for everybody. But I
Right.
like Live Golf. I like the format. I like the team aspect to it. But if you're going to ask me, hey, Matt, what's your opinion on what's going on over there? Why are all these executives leaving? And yet, another one. Bobby, you sent me the message this
Yeah.
past week of another executive that
What
just left.
yeah. Director I don't even know his name, Director of Communications or something like that? I'm not sure what that title was, but he had a lot to do with the team or you pick it up. You know more
Well,
than me
I've
about
been I've
that.
been around so many businesses and startups that literally when executives start leaving, there's normally
Yeah.
a problem that's going on
Right.
there. And it's normally not the executives that they brought in. Normally it has something to do with the ship. It's either starting to crash and go under, or you're not able to get the deals you thought you were going to. It's not going to pan
Right.
out the way you thought it was going to. It's not this glorious pot of gold at the end of the tunnel. So, excuse me if I sound like I'm coming down on Live Golf. I'm not. I'm sharing
Damn.
my opinion as to what I'm seeing and taking place, which is factual. Factual is that executives are jumping fucking ship, okay? And if you can't handle that as an audience member, then go fuck
Slow
yourself,
down.
okay? So
Jeez. Did he say anything nice about me?
he did.
Am I
He
going
said,
down
"Love
in the
Bobby, but
fire? Oh,
man,
yeah, of
oh
course.
yeah, oh god, is it? It's
Oh,
just
this is
not."
it. You were sending me this guy's text messages. Yeah, I saw that.
I did. I had a
Bobby's
blast.
Bobby's entertaining, then he shells you, and then I think every hour for the next 4 hours, he kept firing back at you with all this information, and I'm like, "I don't even know what this dude's talking about." I didn't it didn't because 'cause I'm not that smart. I don't know about the whole politics of it or Aramco
Well, what's
or
funny?
didn't he start in on saying something like he was sure that they were gonna buy the LPGA tour next or something? Or am I getting him
There
confused with
was
somebody
ladies
else?
cricket that they had
Oh,
invested
okay.
into and then apparently have sold off. But like
Right,
this information is not 100% like common knowledge or in
right.
the
Well,
media. So that's where I started going, hang on a second, this person, because we know that there are not only bots out there that are live golf, like they are built to be positive about live golf and especially on social media platforms and so forth.
yeah.
I think this person is real. I just happen to think that potentially might have a little bit more of a, let's put it this way, might be in the pocket of live golf to go and try to make
Okay,
everything that they come across positive.
but
But I am positive on live golf. I just don't
yeah, I
love that
know.
all these
I know.
executives are jumping ship. There's something
I know.
wrong.
I'm not gonna defend I'm not gonna defend this guy, but I'm gonna just let you stand back for a second. Maybe this is just a dude that knows him shit, and he's like us, just expressing his opinion on what he thinks, right? Is that possible?
It's
You know?
possible, but
I'm I'm trying to keep I'm trying to
don't
keep
take
us a
shots at
viewer
me.
here.
Don't take shots at me for sharing what I'm literally seeing firsthand. Like,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
And
gotcha.
I'm not shitting
Yeah.
on live
Okay.
golf. I
Are
can't
you
wait for it to start up. Let's get the drama going.
That's a nice Masters V-neck on that you have there. Did you keep the tags on it? Resale value.
This is from the last time I was at the Masters, which I think was 2015.
I like it, dude. I like it, but I didn't have the turkey neck, the 50-year-old
Yeah.
turkey neck. I could rock that. I could
This
rock
is
that.
merino wool. This
Yeah,
was not a
yeah.
cheapie in the Masters golf shop. This was when I
Okay.
had money, folks.
You okay now?
I'm okay
Are you
now.
okay?
I had
Okay,
to get
good. You
that
got
off
it
of my
out.
chest. Yeah, it felt good.
So, speaking of live, they're all playing in that Asian tour event over there. Every single one of them is playing in that Asian tour event. And, we've already, Mito's gone, right? Mito's gone. He's officially gone. But it broke today that Sebastian's gone now too. That Sebastian Munoz is officially leaving, and he's playing over there. And we talked about that
That
for the
makes
last year.
sense.
That he would wake up one morning and he's connected to my agent, and my agent's company has Carlos, who is Sergio's guy, and Joaquin's guy, and all the Latinos that have gone basically except for Mito. So it's been said for last year that Sebastian will wake up one morning. He's like, I'm gonna go. Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go. So now officially Sebastian's gonna go, and I'm waiting for that 48-man roster and all the tweets that they did to see if anybody else is going, because I don't think anybody else is going from here. To tell you the truth, I don't think any big names are going as of yet. So
Well, we
I
haven't
still
heard
don't.
them.
No, I still don't think everything's great in paradise there. That's for sure. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're going to play the fucking Crooked Cat. Can't be good. It can't be good, Matt. It can't be good.
When there's
Jim
smoke, there's
Justice
fire.
invitation.
It's not a conspiracy
Yes.
theory. Like when executives are publicly leaving and there's
Yeah.
smoke because executives
Yeah.
are why would you leave something so new and revolutionary and a breakthrough league that has the potential of just making a ton of money? But the one
Yeah.
caveat, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, is that money conquers all. So if
Yep. It does.
if the Saudis do not want to let this thing fail, they don't have
Yeah.
to. They can just
No.
keep it going and just take
Yep.
debt after debt after debt from this entire LIV Golf
Yeah.
league. So like that's the caveat. And
Yeah.
they'll find executives throughout
Yeah.
that will just take a large paycheck. They might not be as high a caliber, but they're going to
Right.
find people that will take the jobs. So
Right.
at the end of the day,
For
don't get
sure.
mad at me for just calling it for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Good. All right.
Well, there
You
it
good,
is.
Matt? All right, bro.
Are you excited?
I'm super excited for Pebble Beach. I'm super excited to look at MPCC tomorrow and see if my notes are going to help him. And I'm super excited to watch my guy work super hard this week and prepare for a golf tournament like I've never seen him prepare before. I feel like we're at Augusta or something like that, because this is my Augusta, Bobby's major, bro. But I'm excited to see how these LIV guys are going to play over there in Asia and who's going to get it done. That too. So we got two good tournaments going on this week. Not to shun the Corn Ferry Tour, but they were off for 6 days. They're back in Panama. They're rolling through South America. I think they go Panama and Mexico, and my son's there. And I want to say, Dan, I love you and good luck and go get him, my man. We're also super stoked and super proud of you. Keep up the hard work, man, in the arena. Rah, rah, rah. And let's catch up next week. We got a lot to talk about. Pebble Beach, the Asian Tour.
One
What
second.
else?
I thought there was one last LIV thing that you alluded to that you didn't drop on us during the LIV Golf segment. I know I kind of hammered
Sebastian
home a
Munoz.
point. Oh, that was the
Sebastian
big one?
Munoz. Yeah,
Oh, because you
Sebastian.
said it was
Yeah.
a big announcement. That's not a big announcement.
Well, it's
Sebastian
big in
Munoz?
Mexico. It's big in Mexico.
Is it?
He's Munoz. Yeah, I think he's
Love
from
that.
Mexico. Yeah. That's all I got, dude. I
Hey.
gotta go to bed. Bye, Jack. Bye,
Yo
Arnie.
quiero
Is it
Taco
Jack?
Bell.
Chalupa.
I think on that note, we're going to end this
Yes.
episode. But Bobby, we'll catch up in another 7 days. And man, I'll miss you in between. But I'll be watching you
I got
out
one
there
thing
a
to
Pebble
say.
this week.
May the snood be with you, Matt.
Have a good night, everybody.
See you, Matt.
Bye,
See you, everybody.
Bobby.
Bye, buddy.
Thank you for tuning in to Season 2 of the Pull Hook Golf Podcast. Make sure to hit subscribe and go to www.pullhookgolf.com for more